The other day I was reading a book when something take me out of context. It was describing a common animal, or at least one that I have heard about it, but with a particular detail that caught my attention. I'm talking about the cockeye squid, an animal that comes from the abyss. And the thing that surprised me was their eyes. In the thing that they are different. So one is small and dark, and the other one is big and yellow. And I thought, like, okay, it's not a big deal. You have an adaptation with both eyes, like in different shapes and colors. But then I keep thinking, and this animal is huge and has a complex system. And like, how you develop that? Why you develop one yellow eye and one dark eye, and in different measures? In nature, everything seems like a mirror. So why something will break this symmetry? So today in Ocean Science, we will explore the marine animals that break this symmetry and how can be one of the smartest designs on nature. Before diving in, I want to say thank you because we arrived to 150 subscribers. Maybe it doesn't seem like a big number, but if we put all these people in one room, it will be an amazing party. So maybe in the future we can make it. So thank you very much for being part of this small but growing ocean community. Let's start with what symmetry means. In biology, symmetry describes how parts of an organism are arranged to a central axis. And we have many types, like the radial symmetry, so we can divide this organism multiple times and the parts will be equal from each other, as in a sea urchin or in a jellyfish. So when the evolution comes and the organisms start to be a little bit more complex, they divide the task of body. So they have this symmetry that is bilateral, so two sides. If these two sides are equal, we have this symmetry. If the sides are not equal, we will have the asymmetry. So in this way of being complex and dividing the task, we start to see this mirror, so this symmetry that goes with almost all the organisms. So the asymmetry seems like a mistake of the nature, like two parts that are not the same because of an error, mutation, or something. But in reality, the asymmetry seems like the clever idea to adapt to a certain environment. And this organism has this division depending on their situation. So let's get back with our friend, the cockeye squid. So several studies reached that this squid has one eye, the big one and the yellow one, to see the bioluminescence of the animals in the deepest part of the ocean. So in the abyss, you can see with this eye the different bioluminescence that can be made from the sleeper shark, so the natural hunters, and from other animals that are moving around. So this squid can understand how the things are moving around them, and with the other eye he is watching the normal light, so it's the one who's used to be the one to the orientation, to see from where the lights come from, up, down, and how you can start moving around without getting confused with the bioluminescence. So this division is the idea or the development in the evolution of a particular animal that are moving in the abyss. So you don't have enough light to know where you are going. You have also bioluminescence. So you need adaptations that works in that environment. And this is the case. So having one eye for each situation. But this example is not alone. We have more in the marine animals, like the crabs. We have the fleeter crab, Uca sp, and here we have one arm bigger than the other one. In this case, it's not the entire arm, it's the claw that is much bigger than the other one. And this is because one of them can be used to fight, for example, and the other one to eat. So you have one that is working as a normal hand, that you can pick up things to eat or to move, and the other one to fight for territory or other goals. Then we can have two typical examples of asymmetry that comes from the flatfish and the snails. The flatfish is an example that you have both eyes in one side, so one eye have migrate to the other side, so we have an asymmetry. Even it seems like you can divide this fish, is not this symmetry that we were talking about before, is an asymmetry case. And it's the same with the snails, because you have this rotation on the shells that is going to one side or to another side. So it's asymmetry. You don't have two shells or a big one that you can divide perfectly equal in two parts. We have also the example of the mantis shrimp that has one arm like a hammer and the other one like a normal arm. So in one you can punch and the other one you can use it as the crab. And we have also smaller asymmetries, but they still being an asymmetry, as the parrotfish that has one side bigger than the other one in the mouth, because they use more one side than the other one. They are left or right mouth, like we are left-handers or right-handers. So these fish use more one side than the other, and you create this asymmetry inside that is not crazy as other animals, but still an asymmetry that is a perfect adaptation and how this fish is working, is being with the environment. So why this asymmetry exists? Okay, as we see, it can be an adaptation. So it's for many reasons, but it's the same reasons as we have symmetries. Is the evolution. So it can be for saving some energy, for sexual divisions, for other examples as being hunted by different predators and adapt your body to escape from them. So it's the same way that the evolution works, but in this case it's not to be equal from one side to another, is to be different. And this is because the evolution doesn't mean that something is perfect, it's something that is functional. So if you create something more functional than before, you're talking about evolution. Some case is related with the complexity of the animals. So we are being more complex, but it's not that one animal is more evolved than the other one. There are functions that works better in one environment than other ones. But why this shocked us too much as me when I was reading this book? This is because it's not that common. We're talking about 5% around in the animal kingdom. It can be a little bit more in the marine environment because we have also the sponge or more animals that are not perfectly symmetry, that has not this symmetry in the whole body, but is still a small number from the rest of the animals. The next time that you see a photo of the cockeye squid or another animal that is not equal from one side to another, remember that it's not about perfection, it's about survival. So that is all for today. Thank you for watching. This was an interesting video to make. I was really curious about why these animals have these asymmetries, like how they use it or why they evolve like that. So it was nice to do it. And if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, share with more people so we can arrive to 200 subscribers. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.